Executive orders. He also took steps to reverse now former President Biden's executive orders on health care. That includes his actions to lower prescription costs, particularly for those on Medicare. That could have some big impacts down the road. In 2022, 3 in 10 Americans reported not taking their medications as prescribed because of the cost. And the Department of Health and Human Services estimates at least 9 million seniors on Medicare paid at least $3.5 billion out of pocket that year.
So many of them are delaying picking up their prescriptions because they can't afford to pay for them, or they're getting pills and cutting them in half.
Now, the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022 allowed the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid to negotiate drug prices. Then, an executive order shortly after directed the agency to look into how they can cut costs even further.
We could do more things. We could buy more food. We could, do more activities, and we wouldn't have to worry about, can we pay this month, or do we have to not pay something else the next month?
That executive order was reversed by President Trump just yesterday. Now, here's what that means for you. It stops the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Innovation from considering new pilot programs, one that might cap co-pays for generic medications at $2. So while that is out, the $2,000 prescription price cap on some drugs and the $35 price cap for insulin for those on Medicare, those are still in effect, at least for now. And the lower costs on more prescriptions are still set to take effect next year. Those were also part of the Inflation Reduction Act and were seen as game changers for recipients.
Most of them should be free for senior citizens because they can't afford them. You know what I mean? People on a fixed income, don't get a lot of Social Security money. They can't afford any of their drugs.
Now, you may remember, though, Biden announced last week that Medicare would negotiate the price of medications like Ozempic and Wegovy. Those negotiations, they haven't happened yet. So the future of costs for Medicare recipients now lies in the hands of the new Trump administration. Coming up next here on Your Side.